Hi, welcome back to another Terranscapes video. This video is a little different. It's kind of a one-off in that I wanted to talk to you about a sort of side project that's related to Terranscapes and is particularly aimed for the Warhammer players out there. I'm a member of a gaming group. It's the Unplugged Gamers. We got our name because none of us have cable television, and once we discovered all of that, we came up with the name Unplugged for our gaming group. And we have been attending Warhammer GT's Grand Tournaments for several years, and after seeing the diversity of GTs that are out there and their locations, we thought we could host a GT in the Connecticut area, which is a geographic location that isn't really well served. Oftentimes we have to drive 3 or 4 or more hours to go to a Grand Tournament, and also try to step it up and show some quality gaming for the Grand Tournament circuit. There are plenty of great GTs out there. I don't want to dismiss any of them. I've been to many and always had a good time. But you know, our gaming group is focused on quality painting. We like to play on quality tables, and we thought we would take that aspect and host a GT. So I've been involved with some of the terrain, as you can imagine. Working on setting up the tables. It's been a year-long project. We've had many people working on the terrain for the tables, and really, I should say, the entire scope of the Grand Tournament has been thought out at such a level of detail, it's kind of mind-blowing. Which doesn't mean it's going to be perfect right out the get-go. It is our first event, but it does look like I think we have a very good foundation for a just out of the box, and I think it's going to be something that is going to be hopefully I think pretty impressive for the Grand Tournament scene. So I wanted to make you aware of that. The GT is coming up on May 23rd, I think. I should have double-checked before I shot this video. But I'm going to put a link in the description down below, and I'll probably include a couple photos at the end of this video to give you a shot of some of the sense of what we've been working on and how that's been coming along. So a lot of thought gone into the sportsmanship, the scoring rubric, the paint judging. I will be judging paint at the event. I'll be one of 3 judges judging the painting, I mean. And of course, the actual tables themselves. So a lot of work has gone into it over the past year. Obviously, not all of it from just me. I'm sort of a sponsor of the event. I've been supplying some materials and buildings. I'm going to show you a few of those in just a second. I've been trying to consult with the gaming group as well, but it's really been a unified effort. A lot of people have been pitching in a lot of time to work on the terrain, and I think it's going to be some of the better tables, maybe the best tables, we're hoping, in the area for Grand Tournaments. So pretty excited about that, and I thought I'd mention it to you in case you're in the area and you're interested in coming to a GT. If you haven't been to a Grand Tournament before and you're in the New England area and you play Warhammer, it's worth attending, even if you maybe are not a power gamer. I'm not a power gamer, there's a lot of camaraderie that develops over time when you attend several. A lot of people, friends that you get to come back and see throughout the year. And it's fantastic to just go to a place, have great looking tables with great looking armies. Everybody's army is painted to a minimum standard, and oftentimes much higher than that. And it gives you a great way to play 5 games over 2 days and get away from the house and have a good time. So if you're interested in coming and seeing the Grand Tournament and participating in it, you can check out the link below, and I highly recommend you do so. Let's take a look at a few of the pieces that I've been working on to add to the tables for the tournament, and just give you a brief overview of them, try to keep this short, and give you a sense of what you might be able to expect. One of the things that we've been doing is constructing some terrain to also share with the Bragging Rights Grand Tournament. I'll talk more about that later. But they run ETC style, and this year's ETC layout requirements include ruins. Now, what I wanted to do is develop some ruins that were very quick to assemble, quick to paint, as well as remain playable for a Warhammer Fantasy setting. So what I did is I took a variety of the Fieldstone pieces and used some pieces from the Fieldstone, the Ruined Fieldstone mold. These are Hurst Arts blocks, in case you're not familiar with Hurst Arts. If you're not and you're into terrain, you should go check it out, hurstarts.com. But what you see here then is maintaining a relatively low edge height so that a movement tray could still be placed on this, you know, tipped even a little bit, but the tip isn't going to be so extreme that models are going to be spilling everywhere. I think this is going to be really quite functional on the table, and is going to look really as a nice visual element as well. Now you'll notice that it's not finished at this point. This is part of the group effort. So what I've been doing for these is I've been finishing the tops, painting up the stonework, highlighting it, washing it with weathering powders and the like. You can probably see, you know, some of that coloring and some of the rubble areas along the edge. And then I pass this off to the second half of the terrain group, and they, I shouldn't say the second half, like I'm half, the other members, I should say. And then we have a special basing material that we've been using to unify the look across the tables, and that will be applied, and then some vegetation and foliage applied after that. So that's something I've been working on, and there's a couple varieties, you know, just to try to make them look a little bit different. Use a couple of the different Fieldstone molds to jazz them up. Not a hard project to work on, and actually I really kind of like them. I haven't finished one of these myself to, you know, my sort of personal standards and taste, and I'd really like to see what it would look like done like that, but we have to distribute the workload to make sure that everything gets done, because it has been a lot of work. So here's the third one that I have ready to bring down to our gaming group. And I've also been working on buildings as well. So this is the, well, let's see if I pan back here a little bit. This is the Fieldstone. These are the buildings that I'm casting and you know, backfilling with foam. So the only thing that they needed to finish on this that I haven't done yet is actually go over the window slits and black those back in. But you know what's nice about working on terrain for the GT is that it gives me a little flexibility to just kind of play around with some things where I don't feel quite the same pressure to have it be, if I make a small mistake, it's still going to look awesome for the tournament scene, and it gives me a chance to play with it without that kind of a pressure. So I've been just dabbling with some ideas about different, you know, metal colors, and I put in some weathering powders on this, and I've been playing with some of the colors for that. I was looking for a very dark brown, so I had to mix a couple. For those of you who are interested, I'm using MIG weathering powders, and this was a blend of Vietnam Earth and black. They're soot black, about 50-50, and you can see it in some of the stone creases here. And it also gave me a chance to play with applying weathering powders, which I still seem to be sometimes struggling when I'm washing it, how much to mix in, and how, you know, how to get it to fill into the cracks and crevices and not totally blow out the piece. I had one building I did where I coated it. It was so heavy, it looked like it had been in a sandstorm, so I had to really take some time to wipe off a lot of the weathering powders on the outsides of the stones. But in any case, so I've been working on buildings like that. And also, of course, I did this 3-inch tower. There was several of these on the tables. And this one, I played around again with the dome. Never really quite sure what to do with this dome. Just leaving it bare metal, a little bit too much. So I've been playing with giving it more of a verdigris color. And in this instance, and you'll see if you come, there's a variety of them, and I've been playing with this. There's a couple different finishing techniques on them. But this one, I used Scaly Green from Game Color, and not Scaly Green, I'm sorry. It's kind of the Scaly Green equivalent. It's Jade Green from Game Color from Vallejo. And I made a thin wash, and I washed this 3 times to build up that color. And I think actually that is looking pretty good for verdigris on a metal rooftop. But I'm noticing that because the paint is a little transparent, some of the metallic is coming through the green, unless it's in some very thick applications, and it doesn't look quite right. So what I'm thinking I might try is, I think Secret Weapon has a verdigris weathering powder. And I'd like to pick that up, because then where the particles of weathering pigment land, they're going to be completely opaque, and I think that's going to give it more of a powdered, drier, non-transparent look, and I think that's going to look a little bit better. So, but it's nice to be able to experiment and in this kind of a way, and not, like I said, feel some extra pressure, and I still think that building came out pretty sharp, actually, so really like the way that one came out. And also, of course, there'll be some mausoleums on some of the tables. And I just finished this mausoleum for, to bring down as the next wave of buildings to add. There have been many, many buildings. We're going to have a building. The plan is a building on every table. So we might have up to 32 tables. So that's a lot of buildings. So what I did here as a little difference is I played with that verdigris with the same kind of a wash on the metalwork of the door. I left this as a more of a bronzish color. I'm mixing Vallejo, I think it's their rust metallic, with a little bit of their bolt gun. And just to give it a little bit brighter, and then washed it, and then went in with the verdigris over that. But it's a little bit strong. I don't know. Not exactly excited about how it came out on the door. It looks kind of nice from a distance, but I think, again, I think I might get better results with a powdered form. And I also decided to play with the roof color a little bit. So what I did here is I worked with some greener colors in the roof for the base coats, rather than the slate blue that you'll see on the Terranscape site. And I think in the end it came out a little too close to the actual stonework of the building, so I'd like to try a different green in there and maybe go for a stronger color, but then washed over that with some Model Mates, spread that out. If you haven't seen my video on the Model Mates, you should go back and take a look. It's a very interesting weathering product. It's water soluble. You can wipe it off and play with it. Anyway, that gives you a sense of how the mausoleum came out for our tables for the grand tournament. So this gives you a sense of some of the work that I've been doing for it, and hopefully give you a sense of some of the expectations you can have for the quality of terrain that you'll see there. So that gives you a sense of what you can expect to see on the tables, but also, it should be noted that the design of the terrain has not only been to attempt to make it look really nice, but to also function really well in the 8th edition rule environment, whereby we have hills that are, 1.5 inches, maybe 2 inches high in some cases, to try to block line of sight. We want to have large buildings and other large obstructing terrain to block line of sight. Our forests for many of the tables have been developed to block line of sight, so they have very dense foliage above and below, so that we can really have true, obscuring of models behind it. So a lot of thought's gone into it, and I think I've been pretty proud to be a part of it and its inception, to be a sponsor of this event, and to be able to contribute to it in my own small way. So if you're interested in attending the GT, I hope you are. If you're in the New England area, you can find out more information in the links below. And I also just want to give a very brief plug for the Bragging Rights GT, which I mentioned, I think, when I was doing the close-ups, just in the sense that I think we're going to have quite a bit of our terrain being used at that event as well, although it's a very different styled event. It's an ETC styled, which is the European Team Championship style tournament, and that, some people love it, and it's not everybody's flavor, but I know the guy who's running it is a really great guy, and a lot of thought's gone into that event as well, and I will be attending that as a player. So if you're interested in coming down and getting some games with me, you should come to the Bragging Rights GT. If you're interested in having me judge your painting and playing on awesome unplugged tables, then you should come to the Unplugged GT, and if you're a die-hard Warhammer fan, you should be going to both. So, thanks for joining me for this, and keep your eyes out. I have another video a little off my normal topic, but maybe it might be interesting to some, coming up real soon.